totally original Let's Play. Hey everybody, welcome back to totally original motherfucking Let's Play Devil May Cry week. So the what I was gonna say, this is go ahead and fucking think of this as Nick versus Platinum Games round 2.
Oh no.
Because a while back I talked about Platinum Games.
Yeah.
And you know, roll the clip. Okay.
Real talk. What do you think of Raiden as a character?
I think he's fine.
Really?
Yeah.
I expect you not to like Raiden.
Why?
I don't know.
Because I don't like Rising?
Probably.
I don't like Rising because it's made by shitty Platinum Games. Oh, did I say that out loud?
I like Platinum Games.
Yeah, well,
Alright,
90% of the games that they made are shit. But my problem is that Platinum Games doesn't know how to make like an actual, like, all of their games are so shallow because they're incredibly flashy. And that, like...
Well, their combat systems are not shallow.
Yes, they are,
No,
dude.
they're not.
Yes,
If
they
you
are.
like
Go
combos
play
and
Devil May
stuff-
Cry 3 and then come back to me and tell me that Bayonetta is not the shallowest piece of garbage you've ever played. That might be a little too harsh, but...
Unlike Nick.
But think about the other games that Platinum Games has made, right?
I mean,
everyone
they've
talks
definitely
about
made a couple
Bayonetta.
stinkers,
Everyone
but they
talks
made
about
the
Bayonetta,
Legend
but-
of Korra
yeah,
game.
Legend of Korra, that fucking Transformers game, the
Oh, I
fucking
forgot about that.
dude, they've made the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game
Oh, fuck
that
my ass.
came out like
Right
last
until I
year or
fucking
whatever.
exploded.
That sucked, dude. That game was so bad.
Shells in the Shadows or whatever. the fuck
Yeah,
it's
whatever, yeah. I don't like Bayonetta. I know that that's like gonna be... If you like Bayonetta and if you like Metal Gear Rising, Steven loves Metal Gear Rising. It's his favorite game he's ever played.
I hate every other game but it. I think
Yes.
the MGS series is hot garbage trash.
Yes,
Only Rising is good.
But then that's fine. Go ahead. I'm not even necessarily gonna say like it's a terrible game.
It's
you know?
a stinker.
Because
Avoid.
I'm sure that there's reasons that people like it that I can't argue with. And the same goes for Bayonetta. I think Bayonetta is way more what's the word I'm looking for?
Interesting.
No,
Better written?
when it's like
Better
no,
Alright,
when it's
I'm
like
fucking so tired of this shit.
polished. I think Bayonetta is way more polished than Rising. But my issue with Bayonetta stems from the fact that I've played hack and slashes that are so much more deep. It's like, go play Devil May Cry 3 and you will see what I'm talking about. That game is so fucking deep. And it's like,
Your mom's ass. you know
yeah,
what I'm
exactly,
saying?
dude. Like, you think it's a hack and slash, and when people think of hack and slashes, it's like, it's just you just fucking click one button over and over again, and it's like, no, that's
you click multiple
that's
buttons
because
multiple times.
yeah, that's
over and
because
over.
you're playing shitty hack and slashes.
Cool.
It's all very reactive sort of gameplay that requires you as a player to understand what it's almost like a fighting game, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to understand what all of the commands do so that you can link them together properly. And there's not one right way to do it. And I just feel like
So many
Platinum
different
Games
playstyle options.
yeah, Platinum Games focuses too much on that sort of just shallow, maybe 1 or 2 button gameplay where you can just breeze your way through the fucking game, no problem, because you never have to really actually think about what you're doing too hard, See, I don't necessarily know whether or not I really accurately described how I was feeling. Oh, dude! I was like, he didn't
Yeah.
even knock the wall down. Holy shit! So let me, fucking, you hear that rumble, guys? You hear that
There it
fucking
is
rumble?
again.
Let me try to do this differently. All right, this time. So what I said basically amounted to the fact that I didn't like Platinum Games, I didn't like Bayonetta, I didn't like Metal Gear Rising, but I don't really feel like I accurately described why. So let me fill you guys in. So here's the deal. I'm a really big Devil May Cry fan.
Yeah.
Like I've been playing Devil May Cry since I was a wee little lad. It was one of the first games that my brother got on his PS2 that I remember, at least. And I remember, my parents were like, no, he can't play it because it's too scary. And I was like, fuck you. And like a good little brother, they were like, or he was like, you can play it, but you're going to think it's too scary. And then I played it and I thought it was too scary. So, like, I've been playing Devil May Cry for a very long time, and so it has always held a very special place in my heart. Now, here's why DMC upsets me. It's largely due to the fact that I think it's poorly written. I think the story is not good.
Oh.
And I think that, like, by poorly written, I mean I think the dialogue is poorly written, and I also think that the story is poorly written, and I also think that and this is, like, you know, a big point, is that I think that the combat is, like, way too shallow. Like, they really limited what you can do. And this is my largest problem. This is my largest problem with Platinum games, right? Is that everyone tells me how deep the combat is in Bayonetta. And I just don't see it. Like, I played Bayonetta the other day. Like, Zane here has gone through Bayonetta, so, you know. And to me, a large, like, you know how during the loading screens, and you played it on PS3, so, like, you're very familiar with the long-ass loading screens.
Yep, dancing around.
Yeah, you get the whole list like a fighting game, you know, it shows you all the combos you can do on the side of the screen, and you think, there's so much depth here, but so many of them are just punch, punch, kick, punch. Punch, punch, delay, punch, punch, kick. Punch, kick, kick, punch, delay, kick, punch. And what is the real difference between punch, 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 kick, punch, and punch, punch, kick, punch, punch? Nothing. You still do the same wicked weave at the end.
Yeah, but she does different flippy doos.
But that's the thing. Those attacks don't. Those attacks don't really do much. Oh, goshy boy. Differently, you know. And so. And so it just doesn't really feel like I'm actually doing much differently. Right. Now, I'm well aware, guys, that the fucking, you know, Nick, there's different attacks, or not different attacks, well, there are, but there's different mechanics, you know, the guns, and when you press, like, a button and then you hold it, she'll start shooting with that attack. And then there's also the, you know, the different weapons that you can equip to each limb and everything. Like, I get it. I'm not saying there's not depth, but what I'm saying is that I don't like the depth, the way that game goes about giving you depth. Because in something like Devil May Cry, look at this skill list here. Abilities: move, camera, lock on, jump. You know, these are all kick jump, air hike, that's the double jump, side roll, taunt, rainbow, which is actually pretty fucking badass. These are all, like, those are all basic movement options, right? Wire snatch is bringing the enemy towards you, which I think you can do with the whip in Bayonetta. And then wire bound, you use wire hook against heavy enemies. Oh, that pulls you towards enemies instead of pulling them towards you because they're too big. Okay, all basic stuff. But let's go ahead and look at the Red Queen. So we've got Red Queen combo A. Why?
Because, Nick.
So there you go. That's basic combo. What?
Nothing.
Oh, I get you. And then the combo C. We can assume that there's a combo B as well. But well on the ground, press Y, pause. Y. So this is a different combo, right? This is the depth of Bayonetta. Is a million of these. Whereas in Devil May Cry, there's only 3. Why are there only 3? Because the rest of it is all the tools that you need to succeed. So instead of using a different combo for a quick and dirty wicked weave, you get aerial combo, which is a combo but in the air. You get roulette spin, which is also the same thing. Then you get high roller, which is a launcher. Then you get the streak, which is stinger, which is closes the gap in the enemy. Then you get split, which is the helm breaker, where you do the violent descent. Then you get caliber, which is a mid-air streak. And then on top of that, there's the exceed. There's the doing the EX attacks, which you can do theoretically after every single attack. You can do an attack, press the button, make it do more damage. Not only does it make it do more damage, but it also makes it makes the move differently. Like when I showed you guys I don't want to get fucked by the boss here. So instead of just an uppercut in order to do a launcher, now he does that, and it does more damage, but it also gets in extra hits, and it's like, that's the depth. And that's like, this is as shallow as it gets, guys. You know, like, because not only is Nero missing like all of his moves because this is the demo, but also Dante is way more complicated than Nero is. Because with Dante, you've got 4 different styles that you can switch between on the fly: Royal Guard, Gunslinger, Swordmaster, and Trickster. And those all have different uses and different abilities. Plus, with Dante, you get the plethora of different weapons. I mean, in this alone, we know that he's got Rebellion, we know he's got Cavalier, we know he's got what looks like Ifrit, Cerberus, Sparta. Yeah, it's like, so he has all these different different weapons that you can use, but they all function fundamentally differently. And the point is that it gives you a bunch of different attacks that it's your job to chain together. And it's your job to make it work. It's not the game's job to just hand you combos and say, use them. And then you go, well, you know, well, when I get in a pinch, I'm gonna use kick, kick, punch, kick. But if I've got the room, I'm gonna use kick, 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 punch, pause, kick, punch. Because really, the difference there is what Wicked Weave, it gives you at the end. Which, you know, a lot of them are the same, and how many attacks are in the combo, right? And that's kind of the depth of that game's gameplay. And yes, I'm well aware the whole dodge mechanic that can be exploited to do the witch time or whatever. Sure, whatever, right? But compare that to something like God of War. Where, like, God of War is largely... I'm not talking about the new God of War. I'm talking about, like, God of War 1 and 2 and stuff. It's largely just mash square or whatever button is the attack button. I don't remember. It's been a while since I played God of War. That's shallow gameplay. Like, let's be honest. That's pretty shallow gameplay. It's not trying to be complex, but it's pretty shallow gameplay. But Bayonetta... the way people talk about it is if it's the second coming of Jesus Christ himself.
Oh.
And that it's the spiritual successor to Devil May Cry just because it was made by Hideki Kamiya and because it's an action game. But let's be honest, guys. That doesn't all of a sudden make it the spiritual successor to Devil May Cry. It's got a completely different combat system, but one that I don't think is near as complex as Devil May Cry. And it's not to say that it's a bad game. I mean... you know, I largely don't have many other problems with Bayonetta other than the fact that the story is like impossible to understand. But you know, not every fucking Devil May Cry has a good story. In fact, half of them don't. But it's the fact that like people talk about it as if the gameplay is like, I mean, I've heard people say that it's more complex than like Devil May Cry 3 and 4. Give me a break, dude. Give me an actual break. Like, there's no contest. And when you compare that to something like Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Rising, I also complain about Metal Gear Rising in that episode. It's even more shallow than Bayonetta is. There's also tons of QuickTime events in both of them, by the way, which you won't find a QuickTime event in Devil May Cry. And that's a good thing. There's a reason for that. It's because nobody fucking likes QuickTime events in action games. That's what God of War does. It substitutes gameplay for QuickTime events, you know? But I mean, the torture attacks, really useless. It makes the entire magic meter almost useless without the use of those special moves or talismans or whatever they're accessories or whatever they're called. But the Metal Gear Rising is even worse because it's even less complex. Plus, on top of that, it has the added benefit of really pissing me off because they handled the Metal Gear property with no respect, which is what makes me angry about DMC. I think that's what makes most people angry about DMC, right? Is the shitty way they handled that game, not respecting the source material. And that's what they did with Metal Gear Rising. Like, it feels like they didn't ever even play a Metal Gear game. And I know that Hideki Kamiya didn't direct that, but everyone always brings it up, you know, when talking about these kinds of action games. And you know, it's gross. like the neglect, the way that they changed his character, the fact that they absolutely ignored the ending to Metal Gear Solid 4. I'm not going to spoil it for you if you don't know what it is. And the fact that the scene at the beginning of Metal Gear Rising where he throws the Metal Gear is annoying, but the one that really got me was the one where he gets his eye cut by Sam, and then he gets his arm chopped off, and he's bleeding red blood. Spoiler alert, Raiden doesn't have red blood. He's got synthetic white blood. He doesn't have any red blood at all. In Metal Gear Solid 4, you will never see him bleed red blood. You expect me to believe that he got his blood changed out with real blood now? Who was the donor? Snake? Like, come on, give me a break. It's like, it's just oversight. It's them not knowing the source material, so they don't give a shit. And that's what really bothers me about that game. That's what makes me hate that game rather than, like Bayonetta. It's just not my style because I'd just rather be playing Devil May Cry. But I mean, I don't know. You played Bayonetta. I mean, that was a long time ago, but you like it? You like Bayonetta? I remember you really liking it when you played it. You were like, it's pretty good. But then I was like, dude, you got to play Devil May Cry 3. And then you played Devil May Cry 3, and you were like, nah, dude, Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah, that is how that happened.
Yeah, and I remember that because I remember we had like arguments about it or something.
Yeah.
I used to argue with, no offense, Colin. Colin loves God of War, so I'm not gonna I'm not even shitting on God of War either. You can like those games. There's nothing wrong with that. But me and Colin used to argue about Devil May Cry versus God of War, and then you played Bayonetta, and you were like, no, Bayonetta's really awesome, and I was like, no, dude, Devil May Cry.
I just wanted to have my own dog in the fight.
No, and that's fine. Like, maybe that's why a lot of people, although I think a lot of people who like Devil May Cry also like Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Because they want to suck Mr. Hideki Kamiya's dick, which, I mean, if presented with the opportunity, I probably would too, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that, I think, like, back with Metal Gear Rising, I think the reason people don't complain as much about Metal Gear Rising as they should is because the people who are playing that are fans of action games, not fans of Metal Gear, right? Whereas I come from being a fan of hardcore fan of Metal Gear, so to me it's offensive. And if I can't ignore it. I know that there are hardcore Metal Gear fans out there that go, well, I just ignore that it even is a Metal Gear game. I can't. I just can't. I can't. I'm trying, guys. I'm sorry. But anyways, tell us down in the comments below if you fucking hate me, and if you think that Bayonetta is your favorite game. Well, not think, but if you know that Bayonetta is your favorite game, and you think Devil May Cry is trash, don't at me. Just tell me down in the comments. And next time on Totally Original Let's Play, we'll play something else. Because this is now the third time I've gone through this demo. But what did you expect? It's just too much fun! Have a good day, folks.
Bye now.
Click on the left to see the next video in this series once it's uploaded.
Click on the right to see more videos like this.
And make sure you subscribe so that you get notified when we upload new videos. Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them and your enemies that you hate them, because you never know when you're gonna die.